It's a good way to start the show. Hello, everybody.
What is the rapture? Welcome to the FiveStack. What a great start. My name is Dean, deanblundell.substack.com. That's where you can find me. And every day at 3 o'clock, I join my very dear friend, a comforting face, a professional broadcaster, and one of the best investigative journalists on the planet, Zev Shalev, who runs narrative.org. And he just asked me what the rapture is. And
Sounds good.
It sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. I want to have a rapture. Sure.
Well, who doesn't? When you hear about how awesome this was supposed to be 200 times over the past 60 years.
Well, what is? I'm actually genuinely asking, what is the rapture?
Okay, so I got a couple stories, honorable mention stories. We'll start with the rapture, and then me putting Jack Posobiec in a body bag on Twitter yesterday.
Okay.
Today is the 203rd supposed rapture. Now, if you're in the evangelical cult, and keep in mind, I'm telling you this because I used to be in it. I'm apostate. I am a reformed evangelical cult member who was brought up in the cult, got out of high school and was like, holy shit, these people are fucked. And then went completely the other way. So I like critical thinking, Stoic philosophy, believe in science, that kind of stuff, humanity, all the good things. Hi, Nick. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Hi, Kat. Hi, Joanna. And today was just another prediction that is supposed to and didn't come true again, where the entire evangelical underground cult believes, this is a true story, by the way, and they don't talk about it very much, which is why I love talking about it, because they're like, we're not crazy. And I'm like, hey, want to talk about the rapture? Like, we believe in it, but we don't want to talk about it. There are specific projected days that the evangelical cult will tell their following and their people in their churches. Okay, tomorrow or this specific date, the skies will open up and you'll hear trumpets, and Jesus and all the angels are going to crack the sky open and come down, and they're going to grab you and you're going to float up into the sky, but not just you. Every dead relative of yours will float up from the grave out of their crypts. I don't know what they're doing with the people that we've put in urns, but maybe they get put back together. They weren't specific. They didn't plan that far ahead in the evangelical cult. They're like, what happens if we burn bodies alive? And it was like, let's just...
They don't get to be revived, I don't think. I think they just get to stay dust,
yeah,
I think.
Listen, I realize this is going to upset a lot of Christians that are moderate, but you got to hear me out, because if you're moderate, you don't believe that aspect of your faith. That's just terroristic dreamland fantasy bullshit. Anyway, and they're going to go up to heaven, and that's going to be the sign of the end times. And all the secular assholes, all the non-Christians, all the non-believers, all the people who didn't say the magic prayer and get into the cult, all of them, they get left down on earth for 1,000 years to fight it out with Satan.
Doesn't the Jews get to stay behind?
Yeah, dude, me too. Like Jews, agnostics, Muslims, some guy named Terry who just loves Star Wars. I mean, we're not part of the club.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Wait. So, the Jews have a similar version of this. At the end of the world, all the souls rise up and go up to wherever.
Where? Heaven?
Yeah, to heaven, I guess. To the
really?
one. Yeah. And so
it's amazing and the Muslims, they get kind of the same thing, but it's like you just die, you get 72 virgins, and you live in the cloud.
We all have these different raptures in our existences, but they all sort of contradict each other. They're all like, the narratives don't blend. There's a mismatch. It'd be nice if they came up with one unifying story of rapture.
Well, they can't. Well, they compete, right? There's like 44,000 denominations of Christianity, another 12,000 denominations of Muslims. There's 4,000 different deities or gods that people currently worship on this planet today. So the evangelicals are going to have to be a little more creative and a little less specific if they want people to believe.
It's still only 3:13, There's plenty of time still for a rapture, isn't there? I mean, it could happen anytime.
We got 12 hours?
Yeah.
7:10. We got 10 hours.
Yeah. So
here's to hope. And hey, listen.
Enjoy the rapture, people.
Judging by what we've gone through over the past several years in the Maple MAGA movement and fascism, hiding behind Christianity, unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm really rooting for the rapture.
Yeah,
I'm doing the old fist bump, because one of those guys is a dude named Jack Posobiec.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So tell us. That's a good transition. Tell me what happened with Jack.
I'm pretty good at a segue. As well. Thank you. Yes. So, you know how Charlie Kirk got killed by a MAGA dude, and they're trying to hide it, and everybody's like, "He's from the left. He's from the left. He's from the left." And you know how that memorial for Charlie Kirk turned into a MAGA death cult monetization rally to sign people as a big political rally? It was like a mockery of the man's life. which wasn't hard to do. So I put out a tweet that had, I don't know, a couple million people respond to it.
Couple million.
Yeah, it was a couple million, I think. I'm just going to find it here because even though I wanted to talk about it, you know me, not prepared to talk about it in any way, shape, or form. So
looking it up.
Yeah, I put out a tweet the other day that said, "I'll respect America again when they treat one of their school shootings, like elementary school shootings, like they're treating Charlie Kirk's memorial service, which was a 10-hour cult fest."
Yeah, makes sense.
I then said, because I like to pile on, I'm a fan of it, Trump's America is a performance hate cult, nothing more. Didn't say anything about the left, nothing, didn't say anything at all. So out of nowhere yesterday, and let me just see how many people have kind of popped into this thing. It is up to 1.9 million views. So it's a big one. You could call it viral, I guess, right?
Yeah, that'd be a viral. I mean, I don't use X anymore, but I think those people who do, they'd enjoy your
I don't use it much other than to run people's shows now and just correct the record and call people hillbillies and maggots. Does it fit with who I am? No, but it fits with who I am because I still love it.
Yeah, I mean, good power to you. No problem. But what happened? So 1.9 million people.
So 1.9 billion. And so Jack Posobiec, in his ultimate wisdom, keep in mind, Jack Posobiec is a Russian-funded MAGA asshole. He's one of the leaders of the human events thing. He's part of this post-millennial group here in Canada. He's one of the biggest spreaders of horseshit, bullshit information, evangelical MAGA terrorist who is highly, highly, highly rewarded financially by the Trump regime. He's just a fascist little shit.
He definitely works for Russia. I mean, my research around him is that he's paid by Russia. He totally is. He's a provocateur. He creates events in order to help Russia. He's a provocateur in order to help Donald Trump.
Huge supporter of the convoy up here. Yeah. He was like one of those guys that was fire hosing misinformation, disinformation, helping fund it, helping amplify it. So I already hate the fuck anyway. So that's one thing. So he jumps onto this tweet, Jack Poso. He goes by Jack Poso now. It's so dangerous. I'm Jack Poso. He goes, Charlie Kirk. Keep in mind, I didn't say anything about who shot him or anything. It just was like, hey, I'll take America seriously when they treat Charlie Kirk's funeral like they treat the funeral of 21 to 23 students at Sandy Hook. I will. Can't take America seriously. Charlie Kirk, this is Jack Poso. Charlie Kirk was shot by a leftist at school. Canadian. I expected much more from Jack Poso. I expected some kind of, he's got like 14,000 views on his little shit post. I've got, I think like 78,000. Like it's over. So I responded the only way I know how to respond. You sue me. I put two screenshots, one from The Independent, one from NBC. No evidence yet links Charlie Kirk shooting to left-wing groups. Report claims no links. Feds, no links between Charlie Kirk support group and left-wing groups. So I just put back, LOL, cool story. Keep my country's name out of your mouth, you MAGA bitch.
Couldn't resist it, eh? He couldn't resist it.
So that's when he hid the reply.
He hit the reply.
And pretended that that never happened.
Did you screen grab it? You screen grabbed it.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. It's right here. Yeah. So and then I tweeted, Jack is so fucking dumb that he counts Charlie Kirk shooting as a school shooting because it happened at a college. That's literally what these guys. I swear it was a school shooting. It's just a box they got to check. So disingenuous, so stupid, so angry, and the effort to continue, which is what I took out of this. Jack looks at a big post and he's like, I better say something because I need to reinforce that it wasn't one of us. It was one of you that killed Charlie Kirk. And so he did it, and he got absolutely fucking buried. Someone, please call 911.
These guys are so hard at work trying to convince everybody that this was a lefty thing. And there's no evidence, just no evidence of that at all. But, this is Jack Poso's thing. I still remember him doing the Seth Rich conspiracy. Remember that? He was the guy who peddled that story. And
the Rich family summarily sued him and told him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because that was, what he said was complete bullshit. Wasn't true at all. But he was just out there doing Russia's work for them. He's widely known as an anti-Semitic person, but he's also the guy who did the Hunter Biden conspiracy, part of it at least. So, Jack Poso loves talking about people and making shit up about them. So it fits that he did this about Charlie Kirk.
Well, it was, listen, in memory of Charlie Kirk, whether you liked him or not, in memory of all things good and holy, in memory of my secular leaning, in in honor of everyone's hatred for that sick puke. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Goodbye, Jack. Thanks. Maybe we should get him to be on. No, we don't want him to be on our show. Copenhagen, this is number
I'd
5.
invite him on the show before we get to the FiveStack.
Yeah.
I would invite anybody on the show.
Yeah.
And I have invited a lot of these guys on the show. It may come as a surprise. They don't want anything to do with us.
They don't want us to come on the air. Oh, well, okay. Next time, maybe next life, after the rapture. Number 5.
What happens if he says yes and then the rapture does come?
We would have to interview him from the other side. Maybe we'll take a microphone with him. We could talk to him there.
All right, time for the FiveStack. Sorry.
Copenhagen Airport was paralyzed for 4 hours on Monday night after highly sophisticated drones performed advanced maneuvers over Denmark's largest airport in what Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen calls the most severe assault on Danish critical infrastructure to date. The drones, operated by what authorities described as a highly skilled pilot, appear to be demonstrating capabilities rather than causing immediate harm. So they stayed. They just let them do their thing. And they vanished without a trace after hovering near passenger aircrafts and fuel storage for several hours. Oslo Airport as well experienced a similar drone incursion the same evening. So there's a suggestion amongst all these countries that this is just a part of the Russian pattern to use hybrid warfare to send these drones into territories. They've now done it to Poland, Estonia, now Denmark, and Sweden. It looks like the Russians are preparing for war.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to provoke someone into war. It looks like they're trying to provoke somebody, one of those Baltic states, into doing something, which is why they're sending MiG-31s into Estonia, which is why 21, not 19, different Shahed drones and Russian drones made their way into Poland, and why Poland has activated 100,000 troops at their border with Belarus. This is a very serious escalation because what he's doing is including all the Baltic states, and now he's going into all the Slavic states. He's going into Norway. He's going into Denmark. And I ask because you know what happens is a responsible government, when something like this happens and the news breaks that you've got an incursion into your airspace, and you know the weeks prior you saw dozens of them all attributed to Russia, confirmed Russia. And Norway and Denmark both released statements. They're like, this is a serious escalation. We can't say for sure if it's Russia, but it stands to reason that we're looking at them. Well, I had a conversation, who we'll have on the show tomorrow, with former Danish intelligence officer Jacob Karsbro. Jacob Karsbro is on Substack. He is phenomenal. We've had him on the show before. He was on the day that Charlie Kirk got shot. I felt bad because we had to deep six him to talk about that with Levin, Joe Walsh, and Michael Cohen. But he's an incredible guest and an even better resource. And on his Substack, he'll fill you in. But he has informed me Oslo is being super tight-lipped in regards to who they think the responsible party is at the moment, Norway. However, Denmark isn't. They're like, yeah, we're 95% sure that Russia is now trying to provoke us, and we won't be provoked. To the point where another conversation I had with a Canadian intelligence official said, you know, the very next step for us now that Article 4 has been triggered is Article 5, and then we're going to start blasting because the RCAF is now enjoying some time in the Eastern Bloc. There's about 5,000, 6,000 Canadian troops that are leading that Eastern flank. Operation Resolution is what it's called, or Reassurance, pardon me. And so, you know, we have a very vested interest in this, and we put our money where our mouth is as a military and as a country to protect our allies in the Baltics. While the United States has pulled back, we have filled that void. And so what they told me was the next step for us is picking off anything Russian that comes into any airspace of any EU, NATO, or allied country. This is not like, oh, we've got another warning. Traditionally, Denmark's been pretty laissez-faire. Oslo's pretty laissez-faire. But they are very fucking tired. All the Baltic states, all those countries that line Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, they're very fucking tired of Putin, and they're going all in Ukraine, and you're going to start to see the fur fly. What kind of response we see from Russia? Peskov, his spokesperson today, said, oh, we don't know anything about that. Like he said it about everything else. That's just their rhetoric. Was then heard saying, by the way, Putin told us the other day, you guys do anything and we've got nukes, again, with the nuclear saber rattling. Right. Yeah, big shit is afoot in Europe.
It's interesting because at the United Nations today, this is story number 4, and it's related to this. When asked point blank by reporters at the United Nations whether NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft entering their airspace, Trump responded with an unequivocal, yes, I do. But he didn't really seem to know full details of what happened in Copenhagen yet.
No
The
way.
president then elaborated that NATO support would depend on circumstances, but praised the alliance's weapons purchases from the U.S., saying NATO stepped up when they went from 2% to 5%. That's great unity. But it's a remarkable statement that he's making because maybe he was caught off guard. But if he means it, if he actually means that NATO should intervene and intercede any Russian aircraft that's entering into European airspace, well, will American airplanes be part of that? And if they are, that's a real shift in policy.
No, they won't. He's lying. Listen. We can sit here and say, "Wow, that's incredible." Let me take you back to a month and a half ago when Ukraine is getting buried by 800 drones a night, ballistic missiles, Iskander missiles, and the cry from Europe and the allies was, "Please, please, please, United States, send these guys Patriots." And he's like, "All right, we're doing it. I'm going to send you some Patriot missile systems. We'll protect the people of Ukraine. That's enough." And then stopped that purchase and then said, "Okay, we'll do it, but you're going to pay us. All you NATO, EU people, you're going to pay us. You can give it to them if you want." It's like a lend-lease for a con man and a fucking scammer. That's exactly what it was. And so you're like, okay, well, that's great. He's doing that. Last week, he stopped that. Yesterday, he was asked if NATO should start shooting Russian bullshit out of the sky. He's like, yes, I do. Ambiguous on purpose. Ambiguous on purpose because he doesn't believe that, because that's a lie. Everything that comes out of that man's mouth is a lie. He is a fucking pathological liar. He will not only not contribute militarily with any personnel, any equipment, any munitions, any strategy to what's going on in the Baltics and Ukraine. He's actively pulling back. So for him to say that in the face of every single action, not word, but action he's taken, is clearly fucking see-through, and the emperor has no clothes. Zero.
I agree with you. He was a little different today with Zelensky, I must say, at their little press availability today. He looked a little bit more supportive than he had been in the recent past. But, there have been times when he's been like that. But he certainly praised the Ukrainian army's performance lately and their supposed successes on the battlefield. And there seemed to be a real sort of camaraderie between the two. Now, who knows?
So let me ask you a question.
I don't believe it. No.
Well, exactly. Like all the things you said, he certainly sounded different. He certainly looked different. Can you cite one example? I have the answer to this already, so it might be a rhetorical question. Can you cite one? Can you cite one example where he has shown support for Ukraine and fulfilled his obligation for Ukraine?
No, but I tend to believe the general analysis right now that there is a lot of friction between him and Putin and and let's call it, the King of England maybe is another side that's putting Trump up, in different directions. That friction does seem to be there. Like, whether it's about Epstein, whether it's about whatever it is, there's something going on that, he's pulling Trump back and forth a little bit away from Putin and then back to Putin a lot of the time because Putin's obviously got the goods on him. So at the end of the day, I think the analysis will come in who gets to walk away with the biggest amount of money. And for me, Trump gets the most amount of money because of crypto. And crypto is a Russian play, ultimately, and a Chinese play. And at the end of the day, that's what will guide his instincts because that's what he cares about. But I think along the way, he is trying to play a little bit of a dance with Putin by pretending to be closer to Zelensky, by warming up to him in terms of arms sales and all these other performative things. But in the end of the day, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to do anything that is going to ultimately break his ability to become the 10 billionaire that he is going to become once crypto happens. And I just don't see it. I just don't see that they'll break apart because they've got all the goods. They've got all the compromise. They have, as I've been showing on Greatest Heist, there are decades of compromising documents about the president's involvement in criminal activity that is in the trillions of dollars, not just millions and billions. And it's certainly, Epstein tapes are just the other, the icing on top of that. That's just that's not even the serious stuff.
No, he's not going to put any self-enrichment at risk. It's interesting watching him do that dance right now with Qatar. They're like, hey, you want a free jet? It's like, sure, I'd love a fucking free jet because it's worth $500 million. Oh, fuck yeah. Great. That'll be the new Air Force One. And then Israel hits Qatar with a couple of missiles. And Qatar's like, yeah, so we'll take that jet back and you're not getting your fucking golf course or amusement
Oh,
park.
good. They can
Right?
keep it.
And that's when Trump's like, whoa, slow down. I didn't do it. I didn't know. I mean, history, specifically recently, history is littered with examples of self-enrichment being the only variable that matters to Donald Trump. And so, to your point, I would agree. What is it that they have on Trump, and how many people and how many countries and how much genocide is he willing to allow? So that nobody finds out how many young girls he's been with. So nobody finds out about that P tape. So nobody finds out about the compromat of what he did in a Russian hotel room with a bunch of hookers. Like, I mean, Occam's razor, the easiest explanation is traditionally the right explanation. And that's really what this is. Dude's running for his life and he's trying to play this theater with everybody around the world going, I'm going to help. And he doesn't help. I'll support that he's not supporting because it buys him time. Buys him time to lie, buys him time to create more distractions, it buys him time to give Putin more time. He is all about pushing it down the fucking road. That's his entire legal strategy. Watching what he did with Tylenol. Are we going to talk about that coming up in the FiveStack today?
We haven't got in the line.
Okay, well, good. Let me just throw it in. Watching his press conference about Tylenol, screaming, "Don't take Tylenol!" Not being able to fucking talk about acetaminophen yesterday, like he couldn't even fucking say the word. And there's like 5,000 brands of acetaminophen. And he's like, "Just don't take Tylenol." And they're like, "Why not?" He's like, "I don't know. I heard it's bad." Like. He's going to get sued by Kenvue. Johnson & Johnson are prepping a lawsuit of everybody involved in this bullshit. And he's like, if you're pregnant at the end of the press conference, if you're pregnant, don't do it. Like, all I thought about at the end of that press conference was like, who gets rich? And there's a great actual explanation for it. Again, this is the self-enrichment regime. These are thieves. These are con men. There's a gentleman that is... I don't know what his role is. He used to have a television show, Dr. Mehmet Oz.
Yeah.
Is he
Mehmet.
Well, I don't know what he is. He's got a role with the Trump administration and health and whatever. And he owns a little company called iHerb.
Uh-huh.
That puts out this supplement called luciverin. Now, part of that whole thing yesterday was how they're going to change the FDA guidelines instead of using Tylenol because it causes autism. That's what
they're saying. They're saying that there's this
autism.
tiny study that everyone has really questioned that people should be using.
Yeah.
Not using acetaminophen during
pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit, probably.
Well, it's all fucking absolute theater and bullshit. But you know what they want to replace Tylenol with for women so that the kids don't get autism? It's this supplement called luciverin. And guess who owns the biggest distribution center? Guess who owns the majority of sales of that supplement in the United States? Dr. Mehmet Oz.
Mehmet Oz is the current administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services in the United States. Interesting.
Huh?
I know Mehmet. I worked with him on a couple of occasions when I was working at Oprah. He is working on Oprah's productions, I should say. He's an interesting dude. I certainly wouldn't buy medicine from him. I wouldn't buy any medical advice from him. But he's a great performer and he does good TV.
Yeah.
Would I recommend people listen to his advice on anything related to their child's autism or healthcare in general? It'd be no, absolutely not. He's been known to shill a bunch of bullshit on his TV shows for decades. So,
yeah.
If this is who they're now turning
and
to
was
for medical
basically
advice,
run out of the medical profession because of his bunk bullshit, like trying to sell powders and different this is just more of that, but he has a vested interest in it. Strangely enough, iHerb also on their board, a gentleman named RFK Jr. So let's all settle down and keep mainlining Tylenol, people. It's good for you if you have a headache. You're going to be fine.
Tylenol's for pain relief during pregnancies, and this herb, whatever it's called, was it called
luciverin, I believe is what it's called.
Luciverin is actually supposedly in early trials is looking quite positive in terms of its ability to help treat autism. But there are two different things. One is pregnancy and and pain and managing that. The other one is to treat the actual kids with autism.
It's for kids and their folate pathways. It's not doesn't prevent or cure or help or blunt autism, which is onset when you're born. You're fucking born with it, which made me laugh yesterday when RFK is like, I don't know how. I've never seen a 70-year-old guy. I've never seen a 70-year-old guy get diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And you're like, that's because they don't do it when you're 70. Or they do it when you're born. I've never seen someone my age get diagnosed with autism. Yes, because it happens at birth, you dumb fuck.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. He is something else, RFK. He's just a whole other creature.
You know what? I laughed because he was standing behind Trump yesterday, and there's a name that the proper internet has given him. Microwaved Mel Gibson. Lived up to it wholly yesterday.
Oh my God! I hope he's who's it? The Kennedy child who's running potentially in New York. I hope he gets to win that race because he'll be great to have while RFK is in office. We should move to the next story at number 3. The U.S. dollar has crashed to its lowest level in 3 years after the DXY index hitting 97.3 yesterday, marking the steepest year-to-date drop since America abandoned the gold standard. Let me remind you when that was, in 1973, the steepest year-to-date drop. The greenback has plummeted nearly 11% this year alone, a historic collapse that analysts say reflects deeper concerns about U.S. fiscal policy and persistent deficits. Major banks are predicting another 4% decline by the end of 2026. This is a booming economy. America is so hot, Dean. The hottest country in the world.
Yeah.
Yet the U.S. dollar is tanking to its in the most precipitous way we've seen in decades.
America's a disaster. Again, if you take everything Donald Trump says and just apply pathological liar to the label of Donald Trump prior to anything that comes out of his mouth, we're the hottest, we're the best. We took in $17 trillion this week. Their GDP's $34 trillion, by the way, so there's no way that happened. We took in $9 trillion. Someone just gave me $950 billion. What con men are really good at, and this, listen, if you've ever been conned by a con man, hands up, I have. What con men are good at is promising you something over a long period of time in tiny increments and making those promises so fucking sensational and unbelievable. You're like, sounds great. That actually sounds good. I'm going to give that guy a go. So let's talk about some of those string along promises con man Trump has told people. When tariffs start, you're going to be rich beyond belief. Everything's more expensive. Everybody has less money right now in the United States. GDP is down another 2.4%. Mm-hmm. Okay. Inflation's up 6%. Mortgage rates are up to 7-8%. Lied at the UN today. We've cured inflation, he said. We've cured mortgages. Like, we got the best mortgages in town. No one has better mortgages than us. It's completely a fucking lie. We took in $17 trillion, he said, on the stump today. UN General Assembly. People are fucking laughing in the crowd. They're laughing at him.
$17 trillion.
$17 trillion
would solve a lot of problems. I mean, if he's getting anywhere near that money,
because
we'd be in good shape.
And he's like, but don't worry, and it's coming. Howard Lutnick supports him. He's like, yeah, don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. It's been coming for a month or 2 months or 3 weeks for 9 months, and America is dead. The economy is dead. Returns on bonds dead. At an all-time low. Deficit is $37 trillion. You've got another, I think the deficit, if I'm not mistaken, is projected to go up to $44 trillion as of next year. It's like, wow. They're not interested in stopping. They're interested in investing in themselves while they're rugging people in the stock market.
Would take the $44 trillion down, wouldn't it? I mean,
you'd think, right? They don't think about those things when Trump's up there. He's like, we took in a gazillion billion today. And you're like, Is that even a fucking number, dude? Like, you can't. So when you hear these stories about how great America's doing, all he's doing is conning America along until such time that the dam breaks. Well, the dam's starting to break when you look at the dollar. The dam's starting to break when you look at how much money is flooding into Canada, international money, into Canadian bonds. Canadian T-bills,
Yeah,
which
because
Carney
Canada looks very
fucking
secure right now.
oh my God, it is so unbelievably secure. And then Carney stands up at the UN and he's like, basically, we're open for business. Palestine's a state. Trump, fuck the world. We're all going in a new direction. Who's on the bus? Like, and the entire UN stood up. It was like, yeah, on their feet, clapping, had their on their feet. And then Trump gets up there and he's like, the escalator's fucked.
Well, they did stop it from working. But the second he stepped up, and they did stop the teleprompter from working as well.
Someone who hates him at the UN hit stop on the escalator the second Trump got on. He had to walk up. He was real mad. And then his teleprompter stopped working the second he was there. And he got really mad. And then he just listed
You always
off
have to be nice to the crew, right? They always tell you this when you get into television. You have to be nice to the crew.
The most
They can
important
do things
person in
to
a
you.
radio station is the engineer and the secretary. Those are the most important people there. Same thing with the television station. The most important people are engineers and the person who stands on guard for me.
Yeah.
So
the crew,
the little people.
You like the camera people. You just have to like the camera people. They'll shoot you bad. You like the audio guy because they'll make you sound bad. But in this case,
the split screen of Carney and Trump couldn't have been more incredible because one guy telling the truth and the other guy literally living in a land of fucking chocolate.
Yeah.
We made $1 trillion gazillion last year. Escalators broken. Peace out. Like, the economy's dead. It's his fault, and he will never, ever, ever be accountable for it. So congratulations, America. You did it.
And he doesn't want to be accountable for it at all. Number two is that Trump abruptly canceled a scheduled meeting with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries today, calling their demands unserious and ridiculous. As Congress faces a September 30th deadline to avoid a government shutdown, Democrats are using the funding deadline to demand restoration of Medicaid coverage that could affect millions of Americans, plus the extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies and restoration of public media funding. Now, we're heading into a shutdown. Trump wants the government to shut down. He's going to blame the Democrats for all of this. And of course, the Democrats haven't got their act together entirely to figure out how to not look like it's their responsibility.
Yeah.
But this is Trump's shutdown, and it needs to be framed as Trump's shutdown. And he likes it. He likes the shutdown because you know what? It means even less accountability. Mm-hmm. It means he gets to be king. He doesn't have to listen to Epstein bullshit. He doesn't listen to anything. He doesn't even need their authorization to go into war with Venezuela. He just gets to be the king while Congress doesn't work, and that is why he loves this shutdown. I actually think this is going to happen, and it could last a long time.
Yeah, and to your point, and you bring up some really valuable context here, is that Donald Trump is on the fucking run. In every capacity, in every way, shape, and form, Donald Trump does not want to have any more questions about Epstein. He doesn't want any investigations in Epstein. He doesn't want survivors calling press conferences. He doesn't want anybody talking about Russia. He doesn't want anybody investigating him. The Oversight Committee just launched an investigation into Tom Homan's $50,000 in a bag bribe. And Tom effectively was like, yeah, I did it, but this has been really hard on my family. Like, he said that today. I was like, you can fucking, yeah, kind of, yeah. He was like basically paraphrasing. He's like, well, they told me it didn't rise to criminality. I don't know. My family gets death threats. And you're like, oh my God.
He should know the law. Shouldn't he in his position? You'd think.
You'd think so. But the government shutdown is interesting because they should have done this the first time prior to the budget. Like, and Schumer had all of the triggers, all the whistles, and he passed the budget and he greenlit Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, which is responsible for all this.
Yeah.
This is I had a conversation with Steve Schmidt about this recently. This is the very last opportunity the Democrats have to cripple Donald Trump, no matter how he frames it. This is the very last opportunity. He will frame it, and he will try and go rogue, and he will attack Venezuela, and he will act like a king. You know he will. But those receipts count. Those receipts matter. Those receipts and the perception of the criminality of this man who is going to go rogue when the government shuts down. If the Democrats are smart, they will shut it fucking down. They will have litigation reasons for miles to go after this man and his regime. So I hope the government shuts down. I know when you hear it, it's like, oh, the government shuts down. We're not going to have it. No. It just means the business of the people in the House doesn't get done. And then that man gets to be put on a pedestal. But I've also seen Donald Trump, and this isn't good news. I've also seen Donald Trump take these situations and turn it into a plus for him and do more damage than you thought he was going to do. So strategically, I don't know, but there will be a government shutdown. And I don't disagree with you. I think it's going to be for a lengthy period of time.
The optics here are so bad for the Democrats if they do this. Regardless of what you're saying here, I think that anything that the Republicans can hang this on the Democrats will be viewed as a Democratic shutdown because it is ultimately in their hands. It's unfortunate. They could have played it differently, and you're right. They should never have let that big, beautiful bill happen, but they did. I think they should. I think he would like a shutdown, as I just said. So for me, it's. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But not being able to come back to power, not being able to stop a war in Venezuela, not being able to question him on Epstein is a lot. The Democrats will be giving up.
I don't think they could stop him. I don't think they could stop him from doing any of that stuff anyway until 2026. I really don't. I mean, they've been feckless. We've seen it. Do you want me to read you the Truth Social tweet he put out about this at 3:42 in the morning?
Yeah, sure. 3:42.
After reviewing the details of the unserious and ridiculous demands being made by the minority radical left Democrats, everybody's radical but him, fucking idiot, in return for their votes to keep our thriving country open, not thriving, it's dying, I've decided that no meeting with congressional leaders could possibly be productive. He's scared. They are threatening to shut down the government of the United States unless they can have over $1 trillion in new spending. They just want Medicaid restored and a few other things. So they want that money put back in. They're not demanding it for the people. To continue free health care for illegal aliens. It's not for illegal aliens. It's for Americans that are going to get stripped. $13 million. A monumental cost. Force taxpayers to fund transgender surgery. Here we go. This is when he gives it to his people. Force to transgender surgery for minors. Have dead people on Medicaid rolls, now illegal alien criminals to steal billions of dollars in American taxpayer benefits, because that's all happening. Try to force our country again to open our borders to criminals, because, that's what you did, to the world, and allow men to play in women's sports, essentially create transgender operations for everybody. Everybody's getting a transgender operation if the Democrats...
Meanwhile, this was all about giving tax cuts to the rich people. I mean, that's at the end of the day, all these cuts to Medicaid, Medicare were designed to give his rich friends a massive cut in taxes, which they didn't even need.
These radical left views and policies, there's a lot of future worry here about everybody turning transgender, by the way.
Yeah.
These radical left views and policies is what allowed me to win the presidential election, including 7 swing states and the most popular vote in a historic landslide. It wasn't. He won by 1.4%. There are consequences to losing elections based on their letter to me. The Democrats haven't figured out that yet. They are trying to eliminate the popular $50 billion rural and vulnerable hospital fund. They're not. It's crazy. This guy goes crazier, which was passed with only Republican votes and proudly signed into law by me. The Democrats in Congress seem to have totally lost their way. That's true. They obviously have no idea what it means to put America first or make America great again. All congressional Democrats want to do is enact radical left policies that nobody voted for: high taxes, open borders, no consequences for violent criminals. And then, of course, this cherry: men and women's sports, taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries, and much, much more. He hits all the high notes, doesn't he? And
he loves this stuff. He loves to talk about trans. Trans is such a big issue for him.
America instead voted for common sense, and that's what the Republicans and your president, Donald J. Trump, he puts it in quotes, by the way. He's gone from the third person to putting his name in quotes. Stand for. I look forward to meeting with them if they get serious about the future of this nation. We must keep the government open and legislate it like true patriots rather than hold American citizens hostage knowing that they want our thriving country closed. I'll be happy to meet with them if they agree to principles in this letter. They must do their job. Otherwise, it will be another long and brutal slog through their radicalized quicksand. To the leaders of the Democratic Party, the ball is in your court. I look forward to meeting you when you become realistic about the things that our country stands for. Do the right thing. President Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. What a crock of shit. I mean, what a gaslighting, anti-gay, hit all the high notes, piss off all your mouth breathers in the cult, and put all the blame for something that you absolutely want and are charging towards so that you can have unfettered power over the United States of America for a period of time because Democrats don't want you to take away Medicare from 13 million people. You fucking loser. That was
And
awesome, by the way.
even if you think that was it, even if you think that the Schumer and the Democrats are up to a whole lot of bullshit and they're not serious, how can you not attend a meeting where you're going to discuss the Medicaid and Medicare needs of your people? I mean, if you're the president of the United States, you don't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to join that meeting." Yeah, let the government shut down. I don't care if millions of people lose their health care. What kind of president does that? What kind of president has absolutely no concern over the people's medical needs and healthcare needs? If there's a government, big party that by all accounts is probably still the majority popular party in the country, is putting forward the statement that they're concerned about all this Medicare and Obamacare and all these other benefits disappearing, how can you not attend a meeting like that? Just blows
Because he
my
doesn't
mind
care.
away.
You nailed it. Because he does not give a fuck about anybody but himself.
Yep.
He is going to do his very best, and he'll do a good job of getting out in front of the camera and chastising, complaining, drawing trans kids, trans people, a trans swimmer. What a bunch of pussies. I mean, that guy just blamed everybody else. He is the leader of the victim right. He is the leader of a group of angry beta cucks that don't want you to look underneath the hood. Listen, the reason why he wants the government shut down so he can go to war with fucking pitiful Venezuela, so he can continue to hide the Epstein files, and so he can continue to give Russia the leverage that Russia needs to continually scare the shit out of the EU and commit genocide, and so he can continue to enrich himself. If you have not read Zev Shalev's incredible guide to the $10 billion that Donald Trump has made in the last 9 months of his first year in presidency in crypto, you need to, because it makes everything that he says and does look very suspect.
I mean, he is getting richer and richer by the minute. Him and his family are getting richer, and the fact that these kids are Eric Trump is almost a billionaire on his own. I mean, it's astonishing to me. Don Jr. is worth $500 million, and Barron's worth $150 million.
Melania's worth about $3 billion. Did you know that?
Sorry.
Melania's worth about $3 billion.
Melania's and he's got $3 billion as well. So they've each, this is the $10 billion. It's like, from what? From crypto bullshit. I mean, it's not even real money. It's just it's something it will be one day. What they'll try and make the money once the US dollar collapses. But meanwhile, his approval ratings today, 35% approval on how he's handling the economy. 35%. That is pretty low. I don't remember a president having that kind of low approval rating. So he might claim that he won the landslide, the election with the landslide, but his popularity ratings are in the toilet. 41% approval rating.
Goggins said it was like 33.
Yeah, this is the Ipsos Reid poll, which just came out, so it's a little bit different than the poll he was calling. But, on the economy, it's 35%, which is certainly what he said was going to be a strong point. So he's not performing particularly well.
It's almost like he's lying about everything.
He is. Almost like he's lying. He is lying about everything. Wait, was there any more in the show today? Is that it?
Yeah, number one. We got to get to number one. Ordered is the 10 billion number one.
No, number one is this. In a jaw-dropping 56-minute tirade at the UN General Assembly, President Trump told assembled world leaders that their countries are going to hell due to immigration and climate policies. He called climate change a con job and declared that immigration and suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe. The speech was packed with demonstrable falsehoods, including claims that London's mayor wants to impose Sharia law and that inflation has been defeated. Just 6 days after the Federal Reserve reported inflation had increased. Trump also complained about a malfunctioning UN escalator. We spoke about this, that nearly caused Melania to fall. He says, "These are the two things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter."
I go back to this, and I would really love everybody to go to deanblundell.substack.com and read about Mark Carney's appearance at the UN General Assembly, and then juxtapose that, because I put both in there.
We should have actually put it up. We should have done a video show today and actually played Carney's speech.
We'll do it tomorrow. It was brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Carney gets up to the stump and he's like, "We're going to recognize Palestine as a state. This has been our position, every government, every prime minister since 1947. The genocide in Gaza has to stop. And we're making a statement because if certain pieces of this, solution aren't here, then they're just never going to stop. And he believes in Canada does, most Canadians do, most of my Jewish Canadian friends do believe in a two-state still solution. They really do, not with Hamas, for the
No,
people of Palestine, for the innocent people there. Kind of like I believe that Israel should be given their democracy back, and Benjamin Netanyahu is a terrible representation of the Israeli people. I believe that to be true as well. So Mark Carney makes this statement. Netanyahu's like, fuck you. We're diplomatically boycotting every country that recognizes Palestine as a state. Okay? There's that part of it. Carney was asked about it in the CRF meeting, the CFR meeting, the Council for Foreign Relations. And he's like, hey, listen, this has been our position as a country since 1947. It hasn't changed. They've moved. We haven't. We still believe the things we believe, and the Canadians have given me a mandate, and that's the mandate, so let's do this. He also stands up ferociously for the Jewish people that live in Canada, for the Jewish people in Israel as well. He's got a hate speech law to go after people that are walking around with swastikas in front of synagogues with punishable fucking sentences up to 2 to fucking life in prison, because he's tired of the anti-Semitism as well. So, this guy has the ability to see the forest through the trees.
100%.
And he also has the ability to lay out a plan for people. And that's when he was like, hey, listen, Donald Trump caused a rupture. We're here. We're democratic. We're people that believe in Canada. We want good partners. Everything has changed. And he basically said, and I kind of need to thank Trump for that, because it's forced us to take our new direction very seriously, calling it a rupture, not a transition. Those are two very important distinctions. Then you had Donald Trump the next day, which was today. And we've covered some of it. Fucking complain about a broken escalator. Tell every member state of the UN at the General Assembly that their countries suck. And their countries have been flooding his country for years with migrants and terrible people from insane asylums. And then warned the EU that they were going to die if they didn't do what he did, which is close the borders. Borders aren't closed. You might think they are, but they're not really. People are still flooding into the United States. And then he fucking started lying and gaslighting and basically gave his CV of things that he's never done.
Yeah,
like the
do you want to listen to a
trillion.
little bit of him? I've got a little bit of him here. I think we can listen to.
Please. Yeah.
Sound healthy. No, I don't have a little piece of it. Sorry.
All right. Anyway, take my word for it.
Yeah.
If you can. But
sorry,
the contrast couldn't have been any different. And the best part was every single member state that wasn't part of the axis of assholes.
Yep.
That isn't involved with Donald Trump, that hasn't licked his disgusting diaper, basically booed and laughed and guffawed and moaned for 22 minutes while Donald Trump was up there. It was a fucking embarrassment for the American people. It was a nuclear embarrassment for any serious politician in the United States. It made Donald Trump look senile. He sounded sickly. He looked more orange than ever. He had more fucking paint on his hand than I've ever seen. Like almost the entire hand was covered in paint. And he was almost incoherent, just playing the hits over and over and over again. That was a disaster that will go down as one of the worst moments in American diplomatic history, bar none.
It's almost like he wants to destroy America's reputation. It's almost like he wants to destroy the American dollar. It's almost like he wants to destroy the U.S. economy. Because he does. He just wants to do all these things. There is not a single good policy in anything this man has introduced. And it is showing in every indicator, in his popularity polls, the U.S. dollar index, all these things are showing exactly what is going on in America. And it is a tragedy that he is doing on purpose. And this is not some accident. This is something he's been hired to do so he can enrich himself to the tune of $10 billion and, screw everybody else, which is basically what he's doing. Can't even be bothered to go to a meeting with Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah, well, he's scared, right? And the other problem with him is that anytime he gets around a serious person, he shits himself, which apparently is an ongoing problem. Okay. If you ask his buddy Keith Schiller, who changes his diaper all the time.
Oh,
yeah. He's got a diaper guy. It's a former security guy, Keith Schiller. Anyway, he can't be around serious people. He folds every
Yeah.
time, right? So Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, as unserious as you might find them, if you're angry about how they've given this man all the leash, I get it. They're so much more serious than him. When he gets in front of Mark
Yeah.
Carney, he's like, "Oh, Mark's great. You're great. You're awesome." Same thing with Putin. When he gets in front of a serious cat, he's like, "Oh, you're the best. You're the best." And then when they leave the room, he's like, "I'm the fucking guy." Right? Like I'm the best. He knows he's not. He knows he's a con man. He knows he's a fucking clown that's in charge of the clown show. And him deciding he won't meet with the leader of the Democratic Party, leaders of the Democratic Party to avoid a government shutdown, and then citing off transgender surgeries that they're going to force on everybody in a Truth Social post as the reason he refused the meeting. People, come on. Come on.
Come on. So everyone should check out dblundell.substack.com because you get a lot of this good stuff. Plus, you'll be able to hear Carney in his own words from yesterday and compare and contrast with the U.S. leader. You decide who you prefer. That's at deanbundell.substack.com.
Choose your fighter.
Yeah, exactly. And you got 50% off your annual rates right now as well. At narrative.org tomorrow night, a very special event at 7 p.m. I've got William K. Black, who was the guy who's the prosecutor and regulator of the SNL crisis. He'll be joining me for a paid member chat, and we'll be doing basically the research for the next chapter of Greatest Heist Live, because he's one of my big interviews for that next chapter. We're going to go through the whole SNL crisis and understand why he was able to put away 1,000 bankers in the 1980s and 1990s, but they didn't put away a single person in 2008. One of the big reasons that we landed up with what I'm calling the greatest heist, and the connections to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein are vast. We'll get to it tomorrow at 7 p.m. On narrative.org, and it's for paid subscribers only. I hope you'll join us for that.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you have to. Make sure you go and appreciate the Greatest Heist series. I think there's 10 different episodes out there right now. Also, your $10 billion crypto mapping of how Trump has enriched himself and his family is incredible. Narrative.org. Become a paid subscriber. Zev is one of the best investigative journalists in the world. And, again, thank you, everybody. I look forward to 3 o'clock every day. I think Zev and I both do. We see each other, we get all excited because we know we're going to deliver some content, have a laugh, but also, kind of act like Sherpas a little bit. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough to all of our followers, whether you're paid or free. We are so grateful that you give us your time. So grateful in a lot of cases you give us your hard-earned money so that we can continue to do this, which is why I've got 50% off, which is why it's very accessible to join Lev's paid subscriber program. But more importantly, we're so grateful when you share this content, when you hit those hearts, when you share these podcasts with hitting that square and sending this conversation to somebody that is under the false illusion that Donald Trump is doing something good for America, or he's the bastion of free speech, or that the America is the hottest. It ain't. And the more people you share this kind of content with, the better. So thank you for trusting us with your minds today. Thank you for giving us your time today. We'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Quick program note. I've got the incredible investigative journalist Tara Palmieri on the show on Thursday, I think at noon. We're going to talk media. It's a quick half hour.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's awesome. She's one of the best investigators. She's absolutely fearless. If you've watched any of her interviews where she's debunked people and she's challenged their views, statements, and the lies that they tell in this ecosystem, she's incredible. So that'll be on Thursday. And then we've got a full slate yesterday. We put out 3 different shows, Pete Dominic, and then, of course, the FiveStack with Mr. Goggin and Lev Remembers. We did a weekend roundup with Lev that everybody should go watch, where he really kind of reads the tea leaves about what's going on next. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being part of the FiveStack. Thank you, my friend. Great to see you again.
Likewise. Have a great day, everybody.
See you, folks.